everyone to the final day of Mental Health Week. And today we're going to be talking about how to deal with loneliness. So the topic I know is loneliness, and I've got here the side that says creating connection. But I find that what really makes us feel lonely is not having a good enough interaction with other people. So it doesn't matter how many people are around you if you don't feel like you can actually make a connection with them. Okay. So I just want to take a moment to think about your social environment, the people around you. A lot of the friends we make are really dependent on who is around us. You can't really make friends with bankers if you're not in an environment that supports a banking system. It's just one of those things where um, most of your friendships are dependent on the structure of your daily life. If you're in a very rural environment and you work from home, it's a lot harder for you to make friends than in an urban environment where you're interacting with a lot of people every day. So it's a good thing to be aware of where you can make connections on a day-to-day basis. How many people do you interact with daily? Is it a small amount? Is it a large amount? Where are the interactions coming from? Are they predominantly coming from work? Are they coming from past interactions that you've had from, let's say, your early school years or even younger family friends? Those things. So we can have a lot of people in our environment that we interact with day to day, and we don't consider them friends because we don't really invest in them. So it's just a good idea to just think about where the people you're interacting with are staying, and how often you come into contact with them. So who becomes your friends, it depends a lot on your interests and their personalities. And it can also be influenced a little bit by our bias and our judgment. So if we have someone who has a resting bitch face, we are more likely to assume that they don't want to interact with us, and so we don't even try. Or maybe we see someone from a different culture and we think that there's nothing we have in common, so we don't try to reach out to them to see if there's even any common ground in the first place. You just make an assumption. So it's a good idea to challenge the assumptions you have about people around you when you haven't even interacted with them before. Or maybe you've interacted with them on a very short basis, like just saying hi, and you haven't really invested further in that. So it's just a good thing to think about where you're interacting with, what biases you have towards other people, what prevents you from reaching out to them. Okay. So when you have the social structure around you, like I said before, a lot of the times we're dependent on work or studies providing interactions for us. A better approach is to have a set hobby group, because then you know that someone actually shares an interest with you. So having a common interest in a larger group and attending events is like the best place to find people that you know you're going to get along with. So if you have, let's say, a really small group of people meeting somewhere, there's a higher likelihood that you won't really enjoy interacting with many of them because there's only a few people. In larger groups, you are bound to find someone that you do connect with. So it's better to have a bigger group or event to attend than a smaller one. So if you see that there is a book club and there's only 3 people joining, it might not be your crowd. It could very well be, but you have less people to know that you're going to click with. So I have here a bunch of places to meet people. So if you are into music, you can go to a music festival. If you are into sports, there's plenty of sports clubs out there where you can see there's a roster of how many people are attending. If you like going to craft fairs, if you like crafting things, if you're really big into I don't know, Star Trek or those things, you can go to Comic-Con. It's really good to engage in your interest in a place where there are a lot of people, where you can have a lot of interaction and you can find people that you actually connect with, that share an interest. And maybe you can find someone who has personality similar to yours, or you have more interest beyond the single interest that you're exploring with these things, because you can't always guarantee that the people in your study group or your work environment share anything in common with you. But you can at least guarantee one common interest if you engage in these events. Okay. So the next point I find is that people don't like to talk to other people. We like to sit on the sideline a little bit and watch everyone else, and we feel nervous and shy. And then when we do push ourselves out there, things go a bit wrong. We're like, I did the thing, I spoke to people. Why isn't it working out? Why do people look like they're looking at me weird? And a big part of this is actually our own anxiety is causing us to not engage in the best way possible. So I have here reading context cues. So you need to be sure that the person that you're approaching actually wants to be approached. Some groups are very open, and some groups are very closed, and some can be a little bit in between. So I have here in the first picture is a study group, and they're all facing towards the center. And if you're approaching from the back, it's all closed off. If you interrupt in this group and you ask a question or you want to join, you're not going to have a very high success rate. Whereas the next picture, you can see they have their books open, but they're a little bit more open on the sides. So if you came to them and you asked a question, one of them would be more willing to help you, or they'd be willing to engage with you because they are having a posture of openness. So I think if you spend some time looking at how many groups are open versus closed, it can really help you to see who you can speak to in these types of groups. And the last example I have here is at a party. A couple people are talking here, they're having a laugh. If you came and joined them and spoke to them, I think that they'd be very open to having you there because they're in a very relaxed and friendly environment. Okay. So this one I really love to talk about. And it's about having presence. So when we're very anxious, we tend to withdraw. And that's also on a physical level. We will round our shoulders inwards. We will cast our head downwards. We really curl in on ourselves. And when we talk to other people, we might mumble softly or look away. We might not look someone straight in the eyes. We'll avert our gaze. Like all these nerves cause us to fold inwards. And when you're in this posture of folding inwards, you're actually sending a signal to other people that there is something to be scared about. So if you think of someone approaching you who's very nervous and anxious, it also makes you feel nervous and anxious. It's like this hive mind thing where we're spreading the fear, we're spreading the anxiety just from our posture. And so that's why it's important to have more presence. Even if you're feeling anxious, you can try to open yourself up. Pull your shoulders back a bit. Relax yourself. If you look more relaxed, other people can be more relaxed around you. You're not sending the fear vibes into the atmosphere around you. So it might be really difficult to do, but it's really rewarding because When a lot of places tell you to have confidence and people will like you, it's not actually confidence that they're talking about. It's this idea of being relaxed and not setting off those alarm bells of something to be scared about. You don't have to believe in yourself. You don't have to have full confidence in everything you believe in. But if you are relaxed and open, it allows other people to be relaxed and open with you as well. So be well aware of the anxiety or the other feelings that you have inside you, but don't let it control the environment that you're in. And the other thing is like, you don't always want to be the one approaching other people. So if you just make yourself more approachable, it also allows them to come to you. So if you just sit in an area where you are facing openly and there are seats next to you, then they are more likely to approach you. If you smile back at people, they might come over to say hi. So having a relaxed posture, being friendly towards other people, even without saying anything, is a good way to get people to approach you, and also a good way to approach other people. Like it's not about controlling the anxiety, it's more about controlling how you come across. Yeah. So here, I've got some really good tips in case people want to know what a relaxed posture looks like. So when you are trying to be open and friendly, keep your gaze generally in the vicinity of people. You don't have to stare them dead in the eye. Please don't do that. But don't look at the ceiling and don't stare at the floor. Like you want to be at least looking past someone's head, looking around their shoulder area, just keeping your gaze in general at like eye level can really help when you're trying to be relaxed and friendly. It's really hard to make contact with someone with their eyes if they are looking at the floor. And again, same thing if you're looking at the ceiling. When people want to connect with someone else, they usually connect with the eyes. That doesn't mean staring at the eyes for long periods of time. It just means like you can have a glance at someone's eyes and then drift away. I know that if people have autism, they don't like having eye contact. So the best strategy I have for people who are averse to eye contact is to look around places where the eyes are without looking directly in the eyes. So you could look at someone's ear, their forehead, their eyebrows, their nose, just past their ear even, or just above their head. Those are very good spots to rest your gaze that doesn't feel so anxiety provoking, and it opens you up to social contact. So, this next one, I mentioned it before, softening your posture. Don't curl inwards and don't be as stiff as a board. So, if you're feeling anxious, this can also help you to ease the stress a little bit as well, because when you focus on your physical body, it can also help you to relax. So if you're sitting with us now, I'm just going to go through these different things and you can try it for yourself to see how it makes you feel. If your jaw is clenched right now, I want you to unclench it. Relax your jaw. Let it drop a little bit with your mouth closed. If you are frowning or your lips are tight, relax your face. Let the frown go. Don't have to force a smile on your face, but if you're scowling, relax your lips. Okay, now I want you to just drop your shoulders gently. Push them slightly backwards and down. Let them rest. Take a deep breath in as you do this and out so that you can fully drop your shoulders down. Now I want you to just wriggle a little bit to see if you can get rid of the tension in your back. Maybe do a little bit of a stretch if that helps. And then I want you to come back now and just see if that made a difference to you right now. So that's what I want. As a posture, you just want to have your arms down and your face relaxed. And that is a really good way to carry yourself around other people. And again, it can really help with feelings of stress or anxiety to just relax your body a little bit. Okay. And this last point, having vocal clarity. You don't want to shout at other people. I mean, if you're at a music festival where everything is loud, okay, then I will say shouting is okay. But in general, you don't want to be too loud, but you also don't want to be soft. So when you're pushing your voice out a little bit, try not to shout at other people, but also don't mumble under your breath or whisper. I know it can be really difficult when you're anxious to not speak softly, but I encourage you to try so that you can convey what you want to say loud and clear, but not too loud. Okay. And this also ties into the gaze again. I'll just bring that back. If you drop your head downwards, your voice will not carry over very well. So it also softens the volume when you're facing downwards. So if your head is up, you're a lot more able to communicate clearly. So that's why I have there for both the gaze and the vocal clarity, but it's important to recognize that your head posture can impact on how well you can speak. Okay. So now I get to the point of how do we talk to other people? So when we're just initiating social contact, I think the best thing to do is, sorry, I don't know what I did there. Okay, so the best thing to do is to, I went to the wrong slide, sorry. Make a joke or a statement. Do you want to be light or humorous? If you can. So if there's a topic that's being discussed and you know it very well and you think of something really funny, it's a great opportunity to share that. That doesn't happen all the time. So my main strategy to use is to ask a practical question related to the immediate environment or even just something recent that's newsworthy. So if there's something that you know that's happening that's very recent and you see other people talking about it, you can ask a question about it. Um, if you're waiting somewhere for a particular bus or train, you ask someone, where are you going? Which number train or bus or public transport are you taking? Those easy questions that have an easy answer make it easier for the other person to engage in contact with you. And from their tone, you can get whether or not they want to carry on talking. A lot of people can be sitting around bored with nothing to do. So if you ask them a question that they can answer, they really like to help you. People really like giving help. So if you just ask them questions that they can help you with and they know the answer to, even if you know the answer and you just want to talk to someone, it's a good idea to just ask them. So if you want to know maybe the price of something, even if it's on the board, they can tell you and they've given you an answer and now you've made an initial connection and that's really great. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to maintaining social contact. I think this is where we have a lot more difficulty than just starting the contact. We tend to meet someone, we exchange numbers, and then we go and play the waiting game. Will they message me? For a lot of the beginning stages, you might have to take the initiative and message them first. Okay. And there's a kind of a way to do this is that you want to go to, again, when I mentioned the hobbies in the beginning, having a shared activity that you do, then you go, are you going to the book club? And then you ask them that, what books are you bringing this time? Do you think I should bring that? Asking some easy questions, again, that they probably know the answer to, and just keeping it very light in the beginning. So the best way to start having conversations with people are to send funny pictures that you think they might enjoy, memes, maybe movies. You don't want to immediately invite someone out because that can feel a little too intense. If you just meet someone, you exchange details, you've seen them once or twice, and then you go, let's have coffee somewhere, just the two of you, it can feel like a date. And a lot of the time, you are not trying to date your friends, you are just trying to engage with them. So, in the beginning, you really just want to create more forms of interests and connections. You want to ask them what they like, but you don't want to try to make them feel pressured into going out when they don't necessarily feel like they know you that well. Because people want to feel safe around other people, and you want to know that the person that you're going to be seeing at an event or going alone somewhere with is someone that you can trust. And you won't get that from a first meeting. That happens over time. So it can feel a little bit lonely in the beginning as you start building your connections with other people. That is just how it will be from the beginning. But as you start to get to know someone, it'll get easier and easier, and they can trust you a bit more, and you can trust them a bit more as well. And then you will find things to do naturally as things evolve. Don't feel pressured from the beginning to get someone's number and then immediately invite them out somewhere. That doesn't generally work very well. Okay. So I mentioned a little bit about what things you can send them, but I also think it's important to know that there are some don'ts with this. You want to, in the beginning, talk about things that are relevant, that you both know about, and then you can go deeper from there. So please don't ask personal preference questions off the bat. Yeah, and I'm just gonna talk about this a little bit. When we want to get to know someone, don't ask them their favorite things. Don't be like, what's your favorite time of day? What's your favorite color? I know that worked very well when you were a kid, but those are very personal questions. And when you don't know someone and you don't trust someone, you don't really want to give that information up, even if it is completely irrelevant to anything and it doesn't matter whatsoever. I don't like giving out my favorite color to random people I don't know, even though it means absolutely nothing and could not harm me in any way. It's just something very weird that we have where we like to keep these personal things to ourselves until we trust someone. Again, even if there's no way it can be used against me, I just don't like answering that question to a stranger. And I'm sure there's a few times where you can see that for yourself. So when you ask questions, you want to ask what someone thinks, not what someone feels or likes or dislikes. So I put your opinions instead of preferences. It's a lot easier for me to answer a question of what do you think of this color palette than what is your favorite color. So you want to have people's thoughts on something. Those people are very easily given. Even when we don't want their opinion, we can get their opinion. Their preferences are a bit more personal, and you need to build rapport before you get to those questions. Okay. So as you get to know someone, they will give you more personal information. So if I go back to that color palette question again, if someone asks me, oh, what do you think of this color scheme? I might voluntarily be like, oh, I think this color scheme is nice because my favorite color is within that palette. So you can get more information out of someone by asking an opinion rather than a direct, what do you feel about this question, or what do you like or dislike? So you really want to try and talk about things that people are more willing to talk about themselves. Okay. All right, sorry, it's a bit abrupt to end here, but I really just wanted to stress again that building rapport is so important when it comes to dealing with loneliness. Like I think a lot of the time we want to quickly build this friendship or relationship, and then we're not really thinking about how the other person's going to receive that. And even ourselves, we know that it takes time to trust other people. You don't want to just dive in, throw all these questions at other people, and then expect them to reciprocate. And it's really good when you know that things are building slowly over time, because that can really add to the strength of a friendship. If you have a shared group that you see people often, that is honestly the best way to form friends, because you have a time that you're seeing them, you have a place that you're seeing them, and the more often you gather in a space, the more time, the contact time you have to build the rapport. So I'm always going to say it can be difficult in the beginning and it can really feel isolating, but it's good to, you can build rapport with a lot of people gradually over time, and you can work with that. I think we also have to deal with, I didn't make a slide on this, but perceptions of what a friend is. Some people believe that having a friend is someone that you tell absolutely everything to, you share everything, you go everywhere with them, they like all the things you like. And unfortunately, that's just not a healthy friendship. You want to have a lot of connections with a lot of different people with a lot of different interests, because everyone is going to have things that they are good at, things that they are bad at, things that they like, things that they dislike, and not all of them will be the same as yours. Um, so you want to diversify your friend groups. You want to try and go to at least 2 different activities a month. That's just depending on how social you are. Maybe you need more than that. Maybe one is okay, but I feel that at least 2 different interest groups is very, very good for helping to build friendships. And you can also build friendships with the people in your environment. Sometimes we have some really nice coworkers that we just never spoke to because they had resting bitch face. You never know. So it's just a nice idea to open yourself up to being relaxed and friendly in a social environment, to not pressuring yourself to make instant connections, and to allowing there to be a time to create these friendships. Ultimately, I think loneliness is when we're unable to share the things we want to share with other people. I think that's really like what causes the loneliness, is that we have a need and a desire to share. And when there's no one to share that with, it can feel really heartbreaking. So if you have particular things you want to share, it's good to find groups where you can do that sharing. I will say before I end the presentation, and then I'll be taking questions, that some things need to be dealt with a professional. If you are dealing with intense loneliness because you have been suffering feelings of abuse or neglect, there is no way to ease that loneliness aside from going to get professional treatment. Um, a lot of the feelings we have, we want to put them on a friend or someone close by, but they are not equipped to deal with these very sensitive and heavy topics. So if you notice that the things that you are feeling lonely and sharing with are very heavy, they might not be suited to sharing in a social environment, and it is better to seek professional help. Okay, so that's just my closing statements. I will now be taking questions from the chat that I will read. And then thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Okay. So thank you.